Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Kelly CC, in the building. All right, y'all. I said it. I did. I said it. Nice girls don't get the corner office or anything else. So, Dr. Lois Frankel is actually the person who came up with that saying about nice girls not getting the corner office. She wrote about it in her book. And as I got suspended off of threads today, for being a nice girl. I wasn't doing anything over there on threads, but I did get suspended. But it made me just that and just other things that I've been working on. Just made me think of this whole idea about nice girls not getting the corner office, not getting anything else. And because my focus with my work is professional women who are, lawyers, doctors, accountants, brilliant women, just brilliant women who are transitioning out of the corporate space or pivoting some way in their life to use their expertise in order to, have the life, the living, the legacy that they desire and they deserve. I was thinking today about nice girls not getting the corner office and the fact that because we don't show up in the power of who we are because we're trying to be so nice, though we are brilliant, that we also don't get the big stages. We don't get the lucrative contracts. We don't get the traditional book deals. We don't get the TV hits. We don't get the visibility. We don't get noticed. We don't get all the things, right? And it has nothing to do with you not having the expertise. It has nothing to do with that. Dr. Frankel talks about in her book, and I talked about this, I talk about this when I do my keynote on the V-Suite, where women own their vision, voice, visibility, and value. It is because of so many of the societal norms, right, that teach us that we need to be nice, right? What was the thing when we were little girls? Girls are made of what? Sugar and spice and everything nice, right? And that has perpetuated over and over again. It just keeps going throughout society that as women, we should be nice, right? We should be agreeable. We should be polite. We should be quiet. We should not shine too much. We should not speak up. All the things that we're not supposed to be doing. And because of that, because that's how many of us were raised, right, as little girls, and that is the expectation, unless, if you're otherwise, then you're a diva, you're a bitch, you're a whatever they want to call you. Then we have taken that into our daily lives. We have taken that into our professional lives. And so when Dr. Frankel was talking about in her book, You Don't Get the Corner Office, she's talking about like you really impact your career advancement when we are on this whole idea of playing nice. And that niceness ain't gonna get us anywhere. You can be kind, but you don't have to be nice in the context of how they want us to be nice. So if you're joining me, wherever you're joining me from, say hello, drop comments, let me know what you're saying. Let's have a conversation around this. This doesn't have to be one way. I will be looking at the comments to see what y'all are saying. Actually, let me go on LinkedIn so I can, but I think your LinkedIn comments will come in here on StreamYard. So I really wanted to talk about that because what I found in working with professional women and brilliant women over the past few years in terms of helping them with their speaking businesses and developing their expertise driven businesses is that there is a fear, right, that comes with corporate baggage that has you lean into wanting to be nice or wanting to be agreeable. And you don't have to be agreeable, right? Agreeable, it can be positive. Being nice, I guess, could be positive, but you really should, strive for being kind. Being not negotiating, all those things aren't good. Those things are not good for us. What they do is they hold us back. I remember when I was this is probably in my second year of practicing law. And I was working in this particular courtroom, and there was a prosecutor who was in there. And every day he was such a jerk. Like he would just talk to me. He was just crazy. And I was like, oh, he got me messed up. So one day I told him, I said, come here. There was a back door to our courtroom. And I said, come here. I said, come out here with me. And so I took him outside and I closed the door so nobody could hear us. And I told him, I said, listen, you don't have to like me, but you're damn well going to respect me. And the reason I say that is because I don't need you to like me, but you're going to respect that I'm a human being. You're going to respect that I have value. You're going to respect that I am competent. If you don't like me, that's on you. I'm good with that. But that doesn't take away from my value. And so many of us as women are just in search of being liked. We want to be liked by everybody. I don't care if you like me. I honestly don't care if you like me, but you will respect me, right? And so we need to start showing up in that way. We need to start showing up that we demand our respect. And we see what's happening in the world right now. We see they're taking everything right from us as women. They're trying to take our rights. They're trying to silence our voices and do all the things. And I'm not one of those people who says you got to find your voice. Because one thing I know, how they say, one thing's for sure, two things for certain. I know that women have a voice. Now, whether or not we are using it, that's a whole different story. How we're using it, that's a whole different story. And my mission is to amplify, affirm, and elevate the voices of women experts so that our value is not erased. But some of us have to be taught how to use our voices. Some of us have to be taught how to leverage our expertise in the spaces, especially when we come out of corporate spaces. When we come out of a corporate space in a corporate environment that has done everything that it can do to just make you think that you should be so thankful that they gave you that job, and not recognizing that the reason that you have that job is because you're competent, because you have the skills, you have the know-how, you have the expertise to do the thing that you were hired to do in the first place. And I'm gonna talk to my Black women. We are busily, because we have to, getting every degree, every certification, every, piece of paper that we can get, because we know that between men and women, and especially between Black women and everybody else, there is an authority gap. And it's not an authority gap meaning that we don't have the expertise or the skills or the tools or the competence or the mind or anything like that. The authority gap is that they think that we have to prove more, right? We have to prove over and over and over and over and over and over again that we are credible enough to be in the same spaces as our male counterparts. I remember when I was practicing law. So I practiced law for, this will be my third decade, which is crazy this year. But for decades, I was practicing law and I was a trial lawyer. So that means I'm in the fight every single day, whether it's in a deposition, whether it's in, court somewhere, like I'm in that fight every single day. And I would have these men, and most of them were white male colleagues, be in my face, right? Talking crazy to me as if I didn't pass the same bar exam that they did. I didn't go to law school like they did, right? I used to have, there was one guy, he told me during a deposition, he goes, I've been doing this for 20 years. And I said, great. I've been doing it for 22. Now what? Right? And the reason that I would come back at them, I used to tell them, when they talk to me crazy, I used to tell them, you better buckle up because it's going to be a wild ride today. My assistants, they used to always say, oh, we can't wait to see your deposition transcripts. They used to read them like they're movie scripts because of things I would say. But I would do those things because it is about respect and it's about establishing your value. You cannot allow people to just continue to play in your face. And as women and as women experts, we've been doing a lot of that. We've been letting people play in our face a lot because we're trying to be nice. Well, the time for being nice is over because nice ain't gonna get us anywhere these days. It is not, right? And so, there's a lot of things out here now. A lot of people are losing their jobs, and a lot of people are now switching the way that they, teach in terms of speaking around positioning. Everyone's like, oh, you got to be positioned. Well, I've been talking about that for years. I came out in this space, right, when I decided to work with women, and that was what I was talking about from the very beginning, positioning. Why? Because I know that without positioning, you're not going to get anything. You're not going to get anything. Without positioning, you cannot deliver the right messages to the people who need to hear it so that you can get the things that you desire, those contracts, those stages, those book deals. You cannot, right? So while everybody is out here telling you, oh, I can get you on 50 million stages in 2 days. Great. And then what? What are you going to talk about? Who are you talking to? What problem are you trying to solve? Right? Or everyone's teaching you how to sell and you need to learn how to sell. Oh, believe me, right? But if you don't know what you're selling, then what? Right? And so there's brilliant people out here teaching a lot of great things, but they're teaching it to you in the wrong way. They're not focused on positioning. And even those who are now talking about positioning are not talking about positioning in the right way. Right? They're not talking positioning. I want y'all to understand what positioning is. Positioning is understanding the who, the what, the when, the where, the why, and the how. And most of that has to do with you. It's not to do with everybody else. It's not to do with with the person you're serving. It's internal. A lot of it is internal so that you understand, who am I? Who do I want to be? Who do I want to be that person for? What problem am I solving? Who am I solving? Whose problems am I solving? How am I solving those problems? What is it that they want as a solution for that problem? And how am I going to be the solution to get them there? What's my point of view? Right? There's so many things. What is the unique way in which I'm going to solve this problem? That a lot of people know that they have that problem and they want to solve it, but what is the unique way in which you solve that problem? What are your skills? What is your expertise? Just because I'm a lawyer doesn't mean that I should go talk to people about real estate, right? And real estate transactions and real estate contracts. That's not the type of lawyer I am. That's not the skill set that I have. So some of you coming out of the corporate space want to do a one-to-one transfer of your expertise, and that is probably not the right positioning for you. It is leveraging, right, the skill sets. It is doing all of those things that'll help you to do that. So we got to think about positioning as setting you up for your proper messaging, setting you up to be able to sell your products and services, setting you up to be able to market in a way that people understand exactly what you're doing. And because I understand this at a very, very deep level, and because it is the thing that when I was transitioning out of the practice of law, that made my business take off in the pandemic when everybody else, as speakers, a lot of other speakers were just like, whoo, what's happening over here? Because I had positioned myself powerfully in the space that I was in. And it just so happened that because of George Floyd's murder, that that positioning, that topic that I was speaking about, that I had put myself out there and people could understand and knew exactly who I was, what my point of view was, the problem that I was solving, and that I had a unique way of solving it. That is what put me over. Right? So if you're out here and you're struggling and you're like, listen, I'm out here, I'm doing all the things. I'm showing up on social media. If you like me, you have a love-hate relationship with social media. But you're showing up on social media. You're doing the posting, you're doing the TikTok, you're doing the dances, you're doing all the things, right? You're speaking on all the stages for free. You're doing every virtual summit that comes around the corner. And yet, you're still unpaid or underpaid. It's not you in terms of your expertise. You don't need another degree. You don't need another certification. You need positioning. You need powerful positioning. You need powerful, intentional, strategic positioning before you can do all of those things, right? It is the thing that gives you clarity. Many of you are out here looking for confidence. It has nothing to do with confidence. It's clarity. Clarity precedes confidence. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, because when this mind, which is forever going, like if y'all even know the things that I've been sitting here creating, but when this mind is going and when I'm not clear about something, I know I cannot show up in the power of who I am, because I'm not confident about what it is I want to say or what it is that I want to do or the message I'm trying to communicate, right? The value that I'm trying to deliver. And so you have to understand that clarity precedes confidence and positioning precedes payment. It just does, right? And so when we're thinking about positioning, this is intentional work that has to be done before all of the other things. Yes, you could be out there posting and doing, yes, we do it all the time. And yes, you will get some, engagements, and yes, some of them will be paid. But if you want to be a highly paid, sought after speaker, trainer, coach, consultant, you got to get your positioning in order. You got to get in order. And so, like I said, I have been working on this for the past, going on 4 or 5 years in terms of working with other experts. I've been doing it my whole life, essentially, right? Everything that I've been doing, but then delivering it, perfecting it so that I could deliver it to other people. And part of what we did with the positioning is develop is my signature talk black print. And it has 4 phases. And the first phase of that black print is the is foundation. And that foundation is the positioning. This is how we establish for our clients their power positioning so that they can deliver and develop and deliver their signature talks and presentations. And then they use that for their content. They use that to write books. They use that to develop coaching. They use that to develop courses. They use that to develop products. It all comes, though, from that powerful positioning. And we've done this with our clients in what we call our signature talk experience. And I've done it. We've done it live in person. I say we, my sister and I developed the signature talk black print together. We've done our signature talk experience. We've done it in person. We've done it virtually. We've done it in groups. We've done it one-on-one and we know it works. Right? I've done it, right? And that's how I've been using that. And that's how I built my over six-figure expertise driven business. So I know it works. But I also know that because the foundation work takes a lot out of you, right? It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of depth. We spend a lot of time with clients really trying to understand their positioning, understanding their why, understanding who their clients are, understanding who what their point of view is, understanding what are the problems that they solve, because many of us have the same clients and they have lots of problems, but you only want to solve or only capable of solving certain ones, or there's only certain ones that you want to solve, right? So what is that? Those are the things that we work on, right, inside of this. And it takes a lot of work and time and energy, which we love. But I wanted to figure out, how do we make this better? How do we make this um, how do we innovate, right? How do we innovate on this process so that it's not just all people led? Like, I don't have to be in there. My sister doesn't have to be in there. And so what I did was, I'm a tech girly over here. Y'all might not know that. It's mostly out of necessity. I'm mostly a techie out of necessity. Um, but I like learning new things, and I like all the stuff that's happening with AI and all of the innovation and all of the things that you can do. And so one of the things that I did was to look at that Signature Talk Black print, and I'm looking at all the pieces, but I started with the foundation phase to figure out, how can I leverage AI to make this easier and something that can be done without me, right? But it couldn't just be done without me in terms of I'm just going to be hands off. What I did was I created an AI powered interactive tool that is based on all of my, as I call it, fire forged wisdom, right? And all of the frameworks and strategies behind the Signature Talk Black print, and specifically the way in which we develop your positioning in our foundation phase of our Black print. And I have built a custom GPT. Most of y'all know Chat GPT. So I've created a custom GPT that helps you to develop your positioning, and it's based all on my mind. It's all based in what it is my clients have paid me up to $60,000, right? Just to get me to help them do it. So you will get all of that. It's just being done with the assistance of artificial intelligence. And what that does is allow you to do it in your space, on your time, and to really work through it. And it will ask you, it will ask you all kinds of questions. Obviously, it's built to ask you certain questions, but the way it's also built is to really dig deep. It is not a surface level tool. It is something that I have worked on really hard to make sure that it does the work as if I was with you. And so I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about how we're going to be leveraging AI in the Speaking Industry Expo, the 6th, coming up in November. You see scrolling across the bottom, the speakingindustryexpo.com, which is the first ever trade show for speakers, trainers, coaches, and consultants. It's actually built around you. And so one of the things that we're going to have one of the days is a business incubator. And that business incubator, one of the things that I'm working on is really to power that with AI and really help to show you how AI can save time and energy and effort and brain power. And, people ask me all the time, how do you do all this stuff? How do you do all the things that you do? And a lot of it is using AI. A lot of it is through systems and really understanding all the different AI pieces that you can use and how they can help you and how they can support you. So the custom GPTs will be using some of that at the 6th. And before, so you need to get your ticket. So let's talk about that first. So make sure that you get your ticket. Right now, the tickets are still at our launch pricing. So they range anywhere from $275 to $950. And this is the time for you to really make a decision about whether or not you really want to get paid to speak. You really want to get paid more. You really want to be able to leverage speaking to build your business. And in order to do that, to be in the right spaces, to be powerfully positioned, to get the knowledge and the strategies and the frameworks to help you do that. Or are you going to sit back and continue to say, oh, I've tried everything? Well, you haven't, because you haven't been to the 6 yet. So go grab your ticket. Go to speakingindustryexpo.com to grab your ticket right now. Like I'm telling you, go get it right now. The things that we have planned, and it is powered. So this I'm very excited about too, because I talk about AI and I talk about systems, and one of the biggest biggest software systems that I use is Go High Level. And Go High Level is the presenting sponsor for our expo, right? It is the presenting sponsor for the 6th. I brought the vision to them about the 6th and what I was trying to create and the ecosystem that I was trying to create for us as experts, and they saw it immediately, right? And so they are all in, and they are our presenting sponsor, and they will also be they'll be training during the business incubator. So they're going to do a whole training on like their on operations and back end. And for those of you who don't know what Go High Level is, think about if you've ever heard of like Infusionsoft or Kartra, Ontraport. It's like that. It's your back end systems. So I build websites, landing pages. I do my emails through there, invoicing, contracts, anything, basically anything that you can do on the back end of your business. It will be run through. It can run through Go High Level. So they are our presenting sponsor. They will be on site in November. They will be doing a training during our business incubator, which I am so excited about. We will have an online community even before the event begins, which 30 days before the event begins, we'll have an online community, and that will also be powered by Go High Level. So we talked about, right, Nice Girls not getting the corner office or anything else. Your corner office in November is going to be the 6th. So you need to show up there. So that's one thing I want you to do. Show up at the 6th. Go to speakingindustryexpo.com. Second thing, I am looking for 8 people to help me to beta test this AI powered interactive tool. Now I know it works because I did it, right? I spent hours going through, and I know that it works, and I built it. So, right. But it's one thing for me to do it. It's another thing for somebody else to really go through it and to help me with the feedback around it. And let me know, Kelly, no, this was off, or this is great, or whatever it is. So I'm looking for 8 people to help me beta test it. If you are one of those 8 people, you're like, I love AI. I know I need my positioning together. Kelly, this sounds like it's going to be good. Then I need you to drop beta, the word beta, BETA, in the comments, wherever you're watching this. Now, please understand that there is an investment in this. It's not a high investment, but there is an investment. So there's an investment of time and also money, right? But you will get all of your positioning. You're going to go through, I'm going to give you the entire AI tool to use, and you'll be able to go through and develop all of your positioning. And there's 2 levels, I think, around what we're doing. and one of them will have direct access to me in terms of, you know, your individual access to me, but everybody will have access in terms of groups so that we can get the feedback. So what I'm asking for you, I am going to give you access to this tool that nobody else has. Nobody else has used it but me. And in return, get your feedback so that we can make it even better. The other thing I want you to know about this particular tool is that this is the first part of a tool. It's the first part of two parts. The second part, so this part is going to give you raw data, right? And it's excellent. The second part is actually going to put that data into a very strategic playbook for you that you can then go out and use. So we need to make sure, though, that this first part works and that it does exactly what I want it to do over and over again, as opposed to just for me. So I need 8 people to help me to test that. So if you want to be one of those 8 people, then I need you to drop beta. And those 8 people, if you're one of those 8 people, when we develop the second part of it based on feedback, then we'll also give you the opportunity before anybody else to come in to test that piece of it too. And just know that one of the things that I am really working on is really understanding how we can leverage AI as experts to help us do what we do, not to replace what we do, but to help us do what we do, because there's so much out there. And I use AI a lot to do a lot of things. So if you see some of these pictures of women and all that stuff, AI is creating all that, right? And I'm using prompt engineering to do that. So I am really leaning into tech. I'm really leaning into innovation, and that is going to be a huge part of the Speaking Industry Expo. So if you want to be, like ahead of the game, if you want to not be, continuing to pay people for like their old stale ways of, like this is how we used to do it, and get with somebody who is like, oh, what's out there? Wait, there's something new. Oh, we could try that. We could do that. Then you need to come hang out with me. You need to come hang out with me at the 6. And I need you to come be one of my beta testers. So for beta testers, I need you to be somebody who has a deep level of expertise, who speaking is a business, not a hobby, right? Somebody clearly who ain't trying to take my stuff, and but really wants to support me in helping us as experts, particularly women experts, to really affirm, amplify, elevate our expertise so our value is not erased. So call to action 1, go get your ticket. If you're going to do beta testing, though, one of the tiers for the beta testing does include a ticket to the Speaking Industry Expo. So you may want to just drop beta and talk to me about that first. But if you're not going to be in the beta, and that's not, you don't want to do that, or you can't do that right now, go get your ticket. Go get your ticket. Don't tell me, Kelly, it's November. What's now? We're now in June. You got enough time to figure it out. You got enough time to figure it out. There's payment plans. There's pay in full. There's funding. So if you say no, or you don't want to do it, other than like legitimately you can't, right? Then I don't know what to tell you, but I'll be there, and it's going to be fire. It's going to be fire. So much planned. Anyway, I just really wanted to talk to you about that. So if you want to be, if you don't want to be a nice girl who doesn't get the corner office, then you got to stand up for yourself. You got to demand that you be respected. You have got to embrace all of this. Like, you have got to embrace powerful positioning as resistance to all of this stuff that's happening. Like, we have got to stand up. We're brilliant. We're brilliant. We're badass. And they need to run us our money. But we have to take responsibility for powerfully positioning ourselves so that they have no choice but to run us our money. And that when we say no to that opportunity, we know that we're doing it from a place of power, and so do they. So go get your ticket, speakingindustryexpo.com. Drop beta in the comments if you want to be one of the beta testers for my AI powered interactive tool that is going to help you to develop your whole positioning. It'll be it's actually the first part of what you need to develop your signature talks and your signature presentations. So yeah, signature talk, speakingindustryexpo.com or beta in the comments. Either way, let me know. Go get your corner office. Talk to you soon. Bye.